My name is the Rock Showman, and I have travelled the world as both a circus man and a geologist. Wherever I go, I always question what's beneath my feet. Because to build a big top, you've got to know what's below. And to discover fossils, you've got to understand what's under where you stand. In this series, together with the Common Room of the Great North, we'll be exploring the fascinating Earth history of Northeast England. Join me and my rockhounds as we find out what's beneath our feet.
Okay, Scribble. Okay, Buffer. Bedtime.
I'll read you a bedtime tale. No, it's not that kind of tale.
I know, dogs do have tails. But this is not a dog's tale. It's not a fairy's tale. No, it's not about a tale. This is the tale of the greatest trick ever learned in the entire circus of life. When you think of clever tricks, you'll probably think of clever animals. Was this the greatest trick ever learned?
She's a good dog, but no, not the greatest trick ever.
Was it the clever upright ape that could run rings around all others? It wasn't you, Freya. Sorry. Perhaps it was the invention of the wheel so that we could transport things more efficiently. Sorry, Acro Boy, not you. Was it when humans developed the brain power and coordination to juggle all of these? That is remarkable, Mr. Tiff, but the greatest trick ever? No.
Really? What was it then?
The greatest trick ever learned was actually performed by one of these.
Tremendous.
Unbelievable. A breath of fresh air.
The greatest trick ever learned is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is taking light from the sun and turning it into food. This trick was first performed billions of years ago. You see, dogs, all animals, including us, rely upon plants performing photosynthesis so that we can eat, breathe, and live. But what's that got to do with fossils and rocks? Well, we need to dig a little deeper. Tomorrow, we're going on an adventure to a coal mine. So tuck yourselves into bed, get some sleep. Night-night, poodles. Night-night.
Today we're visiting Woodhorn Colliery, which was a coal mine from the years 1894 to 1981. Here they dug a lot of coal out of the Great Northern Coalfield.
What's beneath my feet right now is the exact place where the shaft sank down over 270 metres below the earth. The shaft has been sealed with a big cap of concrete, so we can't go down there to see what the mine was like. But we can see what was going on with the geology through this. This is called a stratigraphic section, and right here we can see the geology that lays beneath our feet at this very spot. Woodhorn number 1 shaft. In this entire 270 metre shaft, the thickest seam of coal was approximately 60 centimetres. The miners had to dig through so much rock to get to the coal. Getting this stuff out of the ground was dangerous. The bottom 240 metres of this shaft was below sea level. You had to fit through small spaces.
And down there, if the lights went out, it was really dark. Sometimes there would be poisonous gases. Oh, Buffer, was that you?
It was hard, dirty, and dangerous work. So the engineers created all kinds of contraptions to get the coal where it needed to go. It was carted out of the ground by men, boys, horses, trains and trolleys. What is it that makes coal so valuable? The useful thing about coal is that it can be burned to release energy.
Back in the early days of this coal mine, perhaps the most important use of coal's energy was combining heat with water. A bit like boiling a kettle, but on a much bigger scale.
And this is what powered the mine. It was steam engines. Can you hear it?
It's through the power of the steam engine that many great machines were built and could run. Like this gigantic pump that would take water out of the mine. Or this winch that would lift miners, coal and machines safely up and down the shaft. Without coal's energy, these machines wouldn't have been possible. Coal was the most important rock on the planet. Since way back in the dawn of time, humans have used coal to fire furnaces. And coal-fired furnaces can become so hot that they can turn certain types of rock into metal. It sounds like magic, but it's even more exciting than that. It's chemistry. Using the heat from coal, you could take metal ores and turn stone into metal. Like this ironstone, and turn it into steel. We could turn galena into lead. Or this sphalerite into zinc. In fact, humans are quite good at taking one natural resource and turning it into something else. We're not quite as clever as those photosynthesizing plants though, are we?
Looks tasty. Needs something. Fresh herbs. Tarragon, chives. Oh! It's always better with fresh herbs. And that is some sage advice.
And from these metals, we clever humans can make all sorts of things like... No, we can't make bark. No. Trees make bark, Buffer. Dogs can bark too, but we're not talking about bark. We're talking about metallurgy and engineering. Taking resources from the ground and turning them into things that we need. Because there was so much coal within the Great Northern Coalfield, North East England became a really important centre of British industry. Not just mining, but shipbuilding, steelmaking, chemical production and engineering. That's why the Common Room was first built as a centre of mining and engineering back in the year of 1869 to support the future of our common good. Don't be mistaken, coal is not just something from the past. Coal is part of the present, and it will greatly influence our future. The sun has not yet gone down on the industry of pulling black stuff out of the ground. Just over there, coal is still mined in Northumberland, like it is across the planet, because coal is still a fundamental part of civilization. It has shaped the present that we live in, and it will influence the future of the planet that we all share. Coal mining and the industries that it led to helped make Britain one of the wealthiest and most powerful countries on the planet. And that's all because of this black stuff that's beneath our feet. All because of those plants that lived about 300 million years ago. All because of the greatest trick ever learned in the entire circus of life. Taking energy from the sun and turning it into food. Bravo, the photosynthesizing plants. We salute you. So we all know that when you put wood on a fire, it burns. And we all know from the last 2 episodes that both peat and coal are made from old plants and old wood. If we put them on the fire, they will burn too. And that's why coal and peat are known as fossil fuels. They used to be alive, and now we can use them as a fuel to generate heat. Who remembers the element that coal is made up of? If you said carbon, then you've got it right. Wood, peat, and coal. They're all made up of carbon, and when we burn them, they all release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Scientists now understand that this is a problem, and carbon dioxide is one of the things which is leading to climate change. The world is getting warmer, largely due to too much fossil fuel being burned. $300 million years ago, the plants that made this coal took energy from the sun and trapped it. Now, we're taking the coal, releasing that energy back into the atmosphere, and the world is getting warmer. What are we going to do about that? What we do next is up to all of us, and it's for our common good. That's why in the 2020s, we know we've got to use less fossil fuels for our common good and for the future of our planet.
That's why it's so important.